welcome to Secondary Voices and Topics from today's high school students.
Welcome to Out of Pocket. Today we're doing things a little bit differently. We have two different people, Tor and Morgan. So let's get started. The first question is, do you think a short person can talk down to a taller person?
Absolutely. As there are some tall cadets out there, just pulling from my experience, I will put on the dad mode if needed, and you're getting talked down to. If you're being an idiot, fix it.
Yeah, after coming into high school and realizing that I am no longer one of the tallest people in the school, it definitely puts some perspectives on things, but it's also really, really easy to talk down to somebody taller than you because sometimes they just pull some of the stupidest things.
I agree.
100%.
For sure, I think through elementary and middle school, you and me were always the tallest people.
Some of the tallest people.
Until about 8th grade, freshman year.
Yeah.
Screw it. Now we're short. And we're very tall. Because that's women.
Yeah. Well, because you and I, we're 5'8", 5'9". We're reaching that area. And then come 8th grade, freshman year, all the boys shot up.
Yeah.
And then some of the girls followed. So we're like either even levels with some of the girls, and all the boys were just like looking up to. And it's like, well, where'd this come from? You used to be 5'3". Like,
I liked being tall.
yeah, shrink down again. Por favor.
No.
He said, no. What are you, like 5'11"?
Yeah, it's 5'11" and 3/4. So the person who took my measurements, like, just say you're 6 foot. That you don't need to explain it to people. And
You're lying.
yeah, I'm such a liar when I say I'm 6 foot.
You're a quarter
Yep,
inch.
I'm a
or
quarter of an inch shorter, so
Yeah.
I am immediately less attractive.
Yeah, because 5'11" just sounds less attractive than 6 foot. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like you reach a whole new level when you actually reach 6 foot.
And then just having to explain to people, like, oh, yeah, no, I'm not actually 6 foot. I'm 5'11" and 3/4. Like, well,
No, like-
ew. Pick
they're
a
like-
whole number.
Yeah, you just like downgraded.
Yeah.
I'm 2 yards tall. How about that?
Ew.
That's even worse.
Yeah, that's worse.
If I came up to a guy and I was like, how tall are you? And they're like, I'm 2 yards tall. I'm like, no, thank you.
It's like I didn't ask to be in math class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so bigger numbers are better, right? So I should go by inches, by how tall I am, which
That probably send me into a stroke. I'd be like, now what does that mean?
I'm 72 inches tall.
No. Be quiet.
I'm like I'm like 63, 65.
I don't
That's
know
what
how
you and me are.
I don't know how people do like centimeters and stuff like that.
So, someone who is 5'7" is 172 centimeters.
Why do you know that?
Forensics class.
I'm like, why? Why is that in your brain?
We were trying to do some like stride work. We were trying to figure out how forensics figure out like strides for like footprints and stuff. And we were like, oh, well, how big does your foot and how long does your stride tell you how tall you are? So we measured ourselves in centimeters, and then we walked to see how long our stride was and to see how tall that would make me. So I'm 5'8", but my stride tells people that I'm 5'6".
Oof.
People are screwed for me because I take super long steps, so much that Master Sergeant gets on my tail about it.
Well, because in middle school, I was keeping up with a lot of short friends. So instead of taking longer strides and slower steps, I would just take smaller strides and faster steps, kind of walking like Mr. Krabs to keep up with my short friends and not like go too far or too far back.
Hey,
So
Squidward.
I just started, taking smaller strides. So it's just stuck with me.
Yeah. I think I take normal steps for my height. I don't
Well,
think I'm abnormal.
to be fair, you had a lot of friends like your size in middle school.
What does that mean? Just because you were my
Just calling you
locker
fat.
partner? Yeah, what? Are you calling me fat?
No, I'm calling you tall.
Oh my gosh.
We were the same height. And we still are.
Yeah, well, actually, for a while in like 7th grade, you were taller than me. You hung that over my head. I don't know if you remember that, but in 7th grade, you hung that over my
I do
head.
because that was pride. In middle school, if you were taller than someone else, you automatically had like authority
You were
over
better.
them. It was you were just better.
Automatically, you were better.
I was always taller than Morgan, except for one point in my life where
I wore steel toes
she wore steel toes and she made me very, very short.
very, very quick.
Yeah.
Wow. Scary.
If I can't have kids in the future, I'm blaming you and no one else.
I will take pride.
Oh.
What's the next question?
Well, let's see here.
It's a lot of history here.
We're friends now, though, so don't worry.
I don't even know what.
Blinking twice.
Do you think you can daydream at night?
Absolutely, you can.
How else? Dreams, daydreams. Okay. Dreams are when you are actively sleeping, okay? Like, what if you're just, like, imagining a scenario fully conscious?
Can you like
That's-
borrow the mic with you? Just bring it with you wherever you go, so it's
So you
not.
keep looking. There you go. You can just like do that.
I move a lot. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's you just
when
angle
you're-
it when you look at me.
When you're like not quite asleep yet, but you're imagining scenarios, what are you going to do? Like
Cry.
that's daydreaming, right there.
Now you can move and it'll follow you. basically.
90% of the time, like my Dungeons and Dragons ideas come from me just sitting in my bed, like hallucinating about things or just daydreaming about things. So
Schizophrenia.
yeah, I took my pills this morning and my wife and kids left. I don't know what happened. I think they'll be back.
You're like, and I'm back in high school.
Yeah,
Listen, we
like
got
this is crazy, guys. Like,
That is where a lot of like creative people's ideas come from. Was like not quite conscious but not asleep yet.
yeah.
Those daydreams.
see, those are the hardest though because then you have to wake yourself up enough to get your notebook out and be like, all right, I'm gonna write this down and.
I started keeping a notebook right on my desk, like it's right across the room from my bed. Like it's like 2 strides, right?
That's too far for me.
I'll jot it down real quick, or I'll make a little note for myself, cause like cause I like drawing things. I'm not a good drawer. All right, preface this: I am not a good artist, but I like drawing things that I think of, and it's so fun. But I get those ideas when I'm half asleep.
If you drop the R, she gets a lot better.
Huh? I am. Drawer.
Okay. Next question.
I'm just gonna hang that over your head for the future now. Next
Wait,
question.
no, I feel
Um,
so stupid.
Why isn't there any mouse flavored food for cats?
I feel like that'd be a pretty hard flavor to recreate.
Who has to be the poor bastard that has to eat a mouse to then like, yeah, this tastes just like what I just ate.
And then proceed to eat cat food to
Yeah.
figure out what it. Yeah.
You can't pay me enough to figure out what a mouse tastes like. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I'll try snake jerky, but I'm not trying mouse jerky. There's
or
a
mouse,
difference.
Or
Yeah.
mouse.
Like-
Because cats eat the skin too, so I'm
Yeah.
not eating mouse skin either.
Too many diseases. Thank you very much. Have a
Even
nice
if
day.
it's washed 50 times over. No, thank
Yeah,
you.
I don't care. That's a mouse. I am the top. I am an apex predator. I am not going to be eating a mouse.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, yeah. There's a lot of issues going into like they're not gonna just like ground up a mouse in a blender and just stick it in cat food and see what happens.
I mean, I am sure there's one person out there, some person out there, that's like, yes, let me just kill this mouse or buy mice, blend it up, and put it in my cat's food for him.
I'm sure there's
Probably.
some crazy cat lady that does that for sure.
Yeah.
That's so gross.
I,
I have a story actually about this, and this is so cute. So
boy.
cute. I was driving home and I was about to turn left onto my street where my house is, okay? And there was this cat, and I saw the reflection from their eyes on my headlights. And so I slowed down and started to stop. And I saw that this cat had a mouse right next to it.
Oh.
and it was just kind of like every time the mouse moved, the cat went with the mouse and blocked the mouse from getting run over, basically.
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And so I just got around the cat and mouse, and I watched in the back mirror. It was just right enough where I watched the cat guide the mouse back to the sidewalk where this other mouse was sitting.
That is adorable.
So cute.
I can make this story a lot less adorable very quickly with a little biology thing.
Please do not. I want to keep my sanity today.
Okay, it's adorable. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's adorable.
It's cute. Moving
Less-
on.
Less adorable. My house is right next to a field, right? Like it's not even like we're really close to a really large open field. And mice in winter do not like being in open fields. So they'll find any house that they can get into. And my house, right before we moved into it, got really poorly renovated. So my closet has like a giant hole around a pipe that the mice use to get in.
Oh.
So for a while, my room had mice until I did something about it, obviously, because mice freak me out. But for a while, I had mice in there, and I was trying everything to keep them out of my room, trap them, whatever. And I wasn't using, like, inhumane ways to trap them, because, like, that freaks me out, too, because I'm like, oh, poor mice. But we were trapping them. And at one point, I watched a mouse jump up onto my desk. From before that, I had not known mice could jump at all, much less like
Period.
4 feet, 5 feet into the air onto my desk. It was trying to get to a empty bag of chips, maybe a couple of crumbs in there, on my desk, and I freaked out.
Mouse economics be really hitting them hard right now.
I have another story
Oh,
after you're
no.
done.
It freaked me out, and that was like one of the leading causes to figure out every single way to get those mice out of my room. So, fun fact: mice do not like. They kind of like lavender. They do not like cedar, and they do not like peppermint. So, if you have any reason to get mice out of your house, use peppermint, use lavender, and use cedar. Oh my God, that freaked me out so bad.
Well, yeah, I'm about to make it worse. So, my boyfriend's house is it's not dirty. It's renovated pretty good. But you know, mice and can find
Anyway,
any way to get in the house.
Life finds a
And
way.
so he was, gosh, this is really bad. This is like the middle of the night, like midnight, 1, 2 in the morning. And he's sleeping. And, he said he periodically kind of woke up every now and then, just kind of hearing some noise. And the next thing you know, he feels something walking on his face.
oh God.
And so when he wakes up, he sits up because, feel something on your face while you're sleeping. You immediately
you
sit
want it
up.
off.
And what does he see when he turns on a flashlight? Is just a freaking mouse sitting on his blanket on his bed.
Oh my God, I would have vacated that room so fast.
I think he had a heart attack. Like he just had a mouse
would've
on his
too.
face while he was sleeping.
I would have too.
See, I live out in the middle of nowhere.
It's literally nowhere, middle of
Yeah.
nowhere.
So I live going up towards Estes. And for people listening, you probably know where Estes is, let's be honest. Going up towards there in Carter Lake, between here and Berthoud. And we have 2 indoor cats and 1 outdoor cat. That's not necessarily ours, but we nicknamed it Blackie because it is a pure black cat. That cat loves mice so much and will hunt them to the ends of the earth. One of our indoor cats is a mouser. The other one would like to bring you a live mouse as a trophy. However, the sister usually gets in their way and will bat the mouse out of their mouth and kill it.
Thank God.
But
How sweet.
yeah, very sweet. However, one night I was sleeping and one of my cats has a tendency to lay on my forehead.
Joy.
It's
That's so cute.
yeah, and it
I
purrs.
love that.
It purrs. It's a really good way to get rid of a headache, by the way.
Healing purrs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a frequency thing. Anyway, one night I wake up to feeling 2 weights on my body. The
Oh.
first one on my forehead. The second one is the other cat on my chest with a mouse ripped in half on my chest.
Oh gosh.
I was a dinner plate, and that mouse got.
Did you like swat it off of you or something?
So, as an army brat and the son of a soldier who would freak the out if you ever heard like a bang, when you're asleep very heavy. So I was still in like a,
Did you just go back to sleep?
No, he was in one of those. It's kind of like a drunken sleep state
Yeah.
where you're just kind of like,
This is
you know,
happening.
like when like an example that I could use this is like my dog sometimes barks and just won't stop barking, but I'm in such a like coma, like drunk state. I have no effort. I know I'm awake, but I have no energy to do anything about it, and I'm just kind of like, well, this is a thing that's happening.
So yeah, I was in that like half awake, half asleep state, and I just looked down at it, and I just say, Sophie, take it outside. And the cat gets up with the mouse. But I don't want to like give you too vivid of a description, but it takes the front half of the mouse, and it's like, you ever go like, oh, what is that, bungee jumping?
Oh.
It's
So it's
like
like-
its intestines.
Yeah, its intestines are boing, boing, boing with the mouse as it's walking. Blood splatters all over my bedroom, and she takes it outside. Tomato juice is really good at getting blood out of your stuff.
So is hydrochloric acid.
Yes, so is hydrochloric acid. So that's my experience with that. My other cat vomited on me
Oh,
that same night.
ew.
So that was a fun morning to wake up to, take a shower, and then go to the temple.
Joy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
We're done with mice. Stop.
Done with mice.
Next contestant.
Okay. Ooh. This one, I don't know if this is like a super big brain teaser. Reading it at first was a little rough, but
I saw
after
your
I thought
face.
about it, it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, that's the thing. Which day was a kid born on if his leg came out at 11:59 p.m., but his head didn't come out until 12:01 a.m.?
So first of all, he's born backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be head first. But it does happen. It does happen.
Oh, it does happen for sure.
Usually turns into a C-section.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's why I was a
But
C-section.
in this theoretical, it's a natural birth. The kid just decided he wanted to come
Foot first.
feet first into this world.
I'd say the day the head came out.
Yeah, the day the head came out, all the way.
Yeah.
Because that's when you're taking your first breaths, and that's when you're going to start crying and everything like that. And that's when, like, everything like that happens.
So they're just a little
mean-
bit delayed.
Yeah, it's just a little delayed.
I mean, if the kid really wanted to, he could say, "Oh, it's my foot's birthday. Mine's tomorrow." Happy birthday, foot!
Yeah. No.
Get it a new pair of socks.
Yeah. That singular foot gets us new
No,
socks.
it's just one sock. You can't
Yeah.
you can't tell the other
Yeah,
foot that
yeah.
it gets it.
No,
It's
no,
just
no.
one leg.
Yeah,
The
it-
foot
it-
gets a sock and a shoe that day, and then the next day, your parents are like, "Oh, here's the other sock and shoe."
It's like when you have twins at midnight, you give one a birthday the one day, and then you give the other one the birthday the next day.
And you're like, you guys are twins, but you're born on different days.
Yeah.
It happens more than you think.
It is
Oh, yeah.
surprisingly common.
Yeah,
actually.
my
weirdly.
cousins are twins, but they're born on the same day. So
Yeah.
that's crazy. I mean, I would agree with that. I think they're just a basically delayed child since it's supposed to be head first.
Yeah.
They came into this world ass backwards.
Oh, this could be something. What do you think existed before the universe?
So
I
the-
am not a state of mentality to start thinking of this. I just woke up.
And it's out of pocket.
I love this question so much. This is something I love. Science, love science no matter what science. However, I'm also religious. So there's two theories that I kind of subscribe to both in some ways. The universe is expanding ever more and will eventually reach a point where you just cannot fit more crap in there. And everything's spreading out. Everything's stretching out, right? Like, if you look at it, the sun is technically further away from us than it was 10 million years ago. Technically. Now, in the relativity of space, it's like micrometers. But technicality, it's important, right? But I want to think that the universe is going to like slap itself again and there's going to be another Big Bang. So I want to think that there's another universe that was there before and then it just got so fat and so heavy that it just collapsed and made a Big Bang.
That's kind of what I think. I when I was younger, I was always like, oh well, there's probably been a world with something akin to humans before us, and it just got so heavy, so old that it collapsed or something.
Yeah.
That there was a reason that it happened. That there's a reason that it's new now. Well, new.
New in quotation marks. So that's one thing. The other thing is God. God and I don't know how widespread this belief is, but I'll say it because it's
important to you.
Yeah, it's important to me. God has a wife. And the reason why is because, and the reason why I believe this is because there's always been such an importance to two people being equal and fair to one another. Now, humans mess everything up.
Evidently.
Yeah, always.
Sinners. It's what we are.
It's kind of what we do.
Go back like 20 years right now. Okay, it got better and then it got increasingly worse.
Yeah. I don't
But
know what's
anyway,
happened.
And you know, there's always a plan that way. So I think that he based that connection off of what he has with our primordial, celestial wife in that way. Now, I don't know how widespread that is. But that's just my personal belief. That doesn't really affect my scripture reading too much, but it's just interesting.
I mean, I'm religious too, so this is a
I'm
very
different.
fascinating
I'm a different religious.
thing. I think all three of us are different.
Yeah. At lea-
So we all bring something different.
I think you and I are under the same banner, but
Yeah.
do two different denominations.
Yep.
And then you are something
Pagan.
completely. Yeah.
You're just
Well,
like
Full power to you.
all the way over here.
11th article of faith. We believe in the power of God through our righteousness, but we believe that every man has the agency to believe in or to believe in anything they wish, want, where, and anything
Believe.
further. Yeah. I'll get the exact quote because that was a butchering of that quote, but
That
Yeah,
was a
I get the-
description. Okay.
I get the idea. No, it's something I connected with when I was a lot younger. I was like, oh yeah, this feels right. So that's what I did. Because when I was younger, the religion y'all are talking about was kind of forced on me, and I never really connected with it. So it happens.
oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
For the audience, because it can be spoken, I'm Christian,
I'm Norse pagan.
Christian.
but at a different
Don't-
variation.
Don't get on me about this. So I'm LDS or Mormon.
But not the weird Utah one.
No, not FLD.
Okay, whoa. Just kidding.
I'm not FLDS, and that's really the only differentiation. Salt Lake City Mormons are just crazy because everyone's Mormon. But so that's what I am, which is Christian, Morgan.
No, I believe you. I believe you.
We believe in the same dude. The only difference is we think someone had a spiritual moment, came to the new world, cohabitated, and just had another testament to Christ. That's the difference. Holy,
They just added another dude.
a couple extra dudes in all
couple.
reality.
Added a little bit more
Hey,
into
look,
it.
the book happens right at, or like
No matter-
600 years before.
Basically, it's the exact same story. They just throw a couple extra side characters into it.
Because we're correct. No, I'm fucking with you.
And then there's mine. It's
so,
just
we can.
Loki's
Yeah.
my favorite.
there is some theories that Loki is actually y'all's god.
I'm gonna.
Different story. Anyway.
No. This is out of
We
pocket right
can-
now.
this can turn into literally anything, which is why we call it out of pocket.
So
So,
I do not have like the full like theory in my brain right now, but if you ever go on literally any social media, I found my video on TikTok, and I'm not saying this is true by any means, but I thought it was really funny that there are so many theories on Loki actually being the Christian god just to mess with people.
honestly, I kind of fuck with that. That's kind of funny.
I can totally envision Loki doing that.
Well, it would kind of make sense with the Old Testament God kind of being more bipolar than the New Testament God.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about. The Old Testament God is actually Loki because he decided to separate off of people and just mess with people.
I find it.
And with how closely Nordic religion and Christianity cross over, like with the tree of life falling down after Ragnarok, and 2 individuals coming out can be translated into Adam and Eve entering the Garden of Eden from Nordic religion.
It is really interesting how like all those stories can be traced back to an proto-European or proto-Indian Indo-European civilization, kind of like Babel, and it's kind of crazy.
It's the same guy. So on TikTok, what you were talking about, I just looked it up. It's the same guy several times. So
Yeah.
it's one person talking about this.
And I'm pretty sure the guy you're talking about is, I want to say ex-Christian, but I'm not sure.
Ex-Christian?
So
I'd
so,
have to look at
so
more
apostate.
of his videos. Yeah,
Well, unless he's
In religious?
yeah,
religious.
or agnostic, whatever.
Yeah.
So, Article of Faith, the 11th Article of Faith, we claim the privilege of worshiping Almighty God according to the dictates of our own conscience, and allow all men the same privilege. Let them worship how, where, or what they may. Which is very ironic considering. Hello, you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Can we talk to you about the Book
Get
of
off
Mormon?
my front porch.
Yeah.
So wait, do you think that, or you just find it interesting that people are thinking that Loki is tech god?
I find it interesting, and if I were to find more evidence on Loki being that type of, he is that type of guy, let's be honest. If I find more evidence on that, I probably would believe that, because I do genuinely believe that my religion and Christianity were
Cohabitate.
cohabitate or is the same thing.
All right,
or-
Sturgeson.
Or it melded into that. Genuinely, I do believe that, because it adds more stuff for me to believe in, and it adds more stuff for me to talk about with Tor or with other people, and I genuinely do like it.
So Sturgeson was a Christian convert. He was originally pagan, and he's the guy who wrote the Prose Edda. So, like, a massive portion of the pagan faith. I'm trying to be as polite here as possible without like saying, "Oh, it's mythology," because you truly believe in it. But same thing. In all reality,
I'm not gonna get offended.
how dare?
How dare?
He was Christianized. Like the intro of that is straight up Genesis.
Yeah. No, I genuinely think it could be. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, because we don't have something about Christianity that I find interesting. Not necessarily, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I believe God is real.
Yeah.
Jesus, everything.
Yeah.
Very true. But what fascinated me is like the image. We don't have a picture. We have descriptions of God.
Okay,
what
I was
he
about
looks
to be like,
which is, I mean, why a lot of these theories like Loki and stuff like that
Yeah.
come
Well,
into play.
'cause-
So
Because God is supposed to be like a primordial being, is how it was explained to me before.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a body per se.
So he does and he doesn't. It's really, really vague in that regard because
Yeah.
no flesh can be in the presence of God is a verse.
Which is why somebody said that Loki could be a theory, because Loki is also a shapeshifter, because he is not a pure Nordic god. He is a half giant or something like that. I'd have to brush up on that.
He's Odin, like in another suit. Let's be honest, because him and Odin are the only two shapeshifters.
Yeah, because he is
No, he is not Thor's or
he's
Odin's
adopted.
child.
He's adopted.
Kinda. They're barely related.
They're barely related, but he's technically a Jotun.
Yeah, he's a Jotun.
Yeah, he's a Jotun, which is one of the first creatures in Nordic mythology.
Because Ymir, what our
Ymir
planet is.
kind of, Ymir would be the planet, and Loki was part of Ymir.
Everything was
in-
part of Ymir.
In the version you prefer to believe in.
Yeah, so there's two different things
I
here.
thought Tor was just telling you like,
No.
yeah,
No,
no.
like
And I
you
was
are
like-
perfectly able to believe in whatever you want, Morgan. I just spent the last 3 months learning about the prose and poetic Edda. So
Well, I have a book.
yeah. So
A book, in parentheses, book.
in the beginning in Norse mythology, there are two entities that come from the cold and the abyss. Ymir and a cow.
Yep. And doesn't the cow eat Ymir's body?
No. What happens is Ymir is in this giant thing of ice. Because the cold, the abyss, everything is ice. So the cow licks Ymir's
out.
ice
Yeah,
and
licks
licks him
Ymir out.
out
Yeah.
of the ice.
And then after a while, Ymir dies, and that becomes our planet.
Yeah. So what comes out of Ymir is Odin, the Allfather, and like 3 other people.
All Jotuns, I think.
Yeah, and 3 Jotuns.
Yeah.
Odin and 3 Jotuns, one of which being Loki
Yep.
under a different name and not yet being Loki.
Yeah. And then
They-
millennia later, Loki changes his name to Loki.
Yeah.
And starts causing mischief and everything, which is why I genuinely do believe that this theory could be a thing, because Loki shapeshifts into so many different things. If you ever read any of the mythology, he shapeshifts into so many things. He shapeshifts into a horse and gets impregnated by another horse and has an 8-legged horse. Okay.
That then Odin takes and rides and that's
Into battle
yeah.
and then proceeds to kill in battle.
Yep.
It's
Sleipnir.
Sleipnir, yeah. It. That's why I genuinely find it funny, and if that theory can actually be a thing, I would be so happy.
Loki's just the serpent in the garden. He just jumped. He just jumped over to a different faith. And
You know what?
Yeah.
Peace. Bye.
I'm out of this bitch.
I am done. I mean, back to the whole appearance
Yeah.
thing that came into my mind. It was because God doesn't have a body, but the church and the people under his faith as believers are called the body of Christ.
Yeah.
So we're all technically part of.
Part of God.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're made in his image of what he wanted us to be. So, yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were about to talk about Jesus's appearance in like America. And I was, because he is supposed to be
Skin of bronze and
skin of bronze.
sheep of black hare's wool.
Yeah.
Or of
And he's supposed to
hair
have,
of black sheep's wool.
yeah, and he's supposed to have a beard. He is supposed to have a black big beard. He is supposed to be,
Shalom.
yeah, he's supposed to be bronze.
Yeah.
He is not a white, brown-haired, almost clean-shaven man.
Yeah, that's where the the images of Jesus, people like draw like the portraits and stuff like that. Just
Yeah, it was it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it came of the England, just kind of changing things.
Yeah. So
They were like, don't like how this guy looks. He's white now.
there's a constant cultural thing where you make your gods look like you. And since Christianity kind of spread from the Middle East into a more European thing, he became white-faced pretty much.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Christ is always described to appear like the people of his time.
Yeah.
So he looked he was Jewish.
Yeah, he looked Jewish, and then he looked Islamic, and then he's more widely known as white.
Yeah. So depending on where when the millennium comes, right? He might appear differently than what we saw
Yeah.
then, because he might more look like the people of our time, or he might look the same. Who knows? We're gonna have Muhammad 2.0.
oh yeah.
Yeah, no. It was just an interesting theory, and it's really funny. What's the next question?
Yeah. What's the next question before we get into another theology debate here?
Are the 10 calories in a pack of gum just for chewing the gum or for swallowing it?
Like swallowing the gum or swallowing your spit?
Swallowing the gum. So like, does the 10 calories, because there's 10 calories in a pack of gum, does that come from just chewing the gum? Like you just kind of inhale the calories, or does it come from when you like swallow it, which is not normal, but you can
I
actually
think
do
it's
it.
from the packaging. You just bite into the package and swallow it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you do. That's the correct way to
Just
eat
like
gum. Yeah,
eat the
just
cardboard.
Take the package, shove it into your
I-
mouth, and just start chewing.
Yeah, I do think it's just from the chewing. I think it's from like swallowing your spit. Because it's not a good idea to swallow your gum because it can stick in your stomach for a while. Like it doesn't get digested right away.
Well-
Like some of your other food.
Well, because it's very, very adhesive.
Yeah. In some gum, there's beef or butt pus in it, so it's a flavoring. It's
Yeah.
used in a lot of flavoring.
Vanilla.
Vanilla is one of them.
It comes
Like
from,
artificial vanilla flavoring.
Well, no, natural or vanilla flavoring comes from beaver ass.
Yeah, or beans. Vanilla beans.
Yeah.
Fun fact of the day, beaver butt fuzz.
Fun fact of the day. That is a part of this podcast anyway, so there you go. What's the most boring sport to play and watch?
To watch, I will say golf.
Yeah,
And
golf.
I understand that there's some people out there like, oh no, golf is so much fun to watch. I have sat down with my stepdad to watch full matches, and the amount of times I can fall asleep in that time span is unmatched. Unmatched.
It's crazy. I would agree with that.
And it really depends if you're playing, but I'll also agree golf kind of sucks to watch. It kind of depends on what position you're playing for sports for how boring it can get.
I will say this right now. I was on the basketball team in middle school, and the position they constantly put me in, being the tallest girl on the team 9 times out of 10, was so boring. Half the time, I was just standing there watching them play. One time, I did have my ponytail just absolutely demolished by this girl that was like 6'2", in middle school. I might mind you, she was like 6'2" in middle school.
Big
All right,
girl.
I had my hair up in a ponytail because we were supposed to. We're playing sports. We don't want it in our face, right? She comes up behind me and just grabs my ponytail, like at the band, grabs it and yanks me back.
Whip it, bitch.
She just yanks me back, all right? And I get pulled back, and I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Refs didn't call it. They're like, she's fine. She can walk it off. And I'm like, that is
My
not
head
how
is
that
not
works.
attached to my body anymore.
Thanks, ref. But no, she...
Ref, you suck.
Yeah, and my mom wasn't there that day, but my grandma was.
Oh, no.
Now, if anybody knows me and my family, my grandma is insane, all right? And she got up so fast, and if my older sister wasn't there, she would have stormed onto that. She would have stormed onto the court. She would have stormed onto that. Now, my grandma is not mobile. Like, she can barely walk right now.
She's a tank.
But I have watched her uppercut her son.
Damn.
Smite.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, she is, I want to say 60.
60?
And when she was 54, she uppercut her son because she was pissed with him because she was just cussing him out and stuff. And she uppercutted him. And I was sitting in the living room watching this happen, and I was like, oh my gosh, I did not just see that happen. What the hell?
I love how much louder your mic is than ours on the thing.
Well, because if I'm back here, you guys can barely hear me, and I move around a lot, so I'm trying to stay close to the
Well,
mic.
if it's all the way on, like I turned mine up just now, she can move and turn her head, and it'll still hear her voice
Well,
clear
'cause-
enough for the audio.
Because when I was younger, if I didn't look at the person I was talking to, I got slapped. Like, I either got things thrown at me, or the back of my head was slapped.
It's fair.
I will say the most boring sport to watch is wingman. That's the most boring position to play too, is wingman, and it's called the sport of courting. So,
That's considered a sport?
no, I'm being
He-
facetious. I'm
Yeah,
making
okay,
fun of
'cause I
Morgan
was
here.
like-
He helped me and my boyfriend get together 3 years ago.
AKA, I shot him in the ass until he asked her out.
The second time, because my boyfriend came up to me. He's like, "Would you want to go out on a date with me sometime?" And I panicked. I was like, "I don't know if I'm ready for a relationship." No. Straight off the bat, like he asked me, my immediate response, no.
I remember having this conversation with you.
Yeah.
The day it happened,
Yeah.
we were at the park over by Sarah Milner Elementary, and me and Brooklyn were just hanging out, and, we texted Morgan because we all lived in the same area at
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. And then all of us
So-
moved.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
so I texted them that story. I think I met up with you guys later on and told you the full story. And I panicked. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for a relationship. So I was like, immediately no. And it was right next to the flagpole where I was taking down the flag, folding it. So I felt trapped because I couldn't just like leave mid folding the flag. So I was like, no. And then during the summer, after Tor like repeatedly was like, no, ask her out again. I know her. She probably just panicked. Something like that, right?
I'd like to add to the story here for a
Okay.
second. After you rejected him, he came up to me like a poor, dejected puppy. Now, remember, I'm a freshman at this point. Is that what
We
it
were
was?
freshmen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
freshman, second semester, and this dude's a sophomore, right? And he,
And this was close to summer.
yeah,
Yeah.
he comes up to me, looks like a sad puppy, and just goes, "She said no."
Yeah. And then later on, once we're in summer, right? We still talk. Like, he was like, well, I'll still stay friends with her, I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
I was that. That was the reason why I'm like, dude, if you enjoy spending time with her, if you enjoy talking with her, just hang out. If something happens in the future, it happens in the future. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You can
Spoiler
stay
alert,
friends.
it happened in the future.
I don't think I ever concluded that.
But in the summer, right? After, I think, because our anniversary is June, but that's not actually the day we got together because some stuff happened. It got really confusing. So we were just like, this day is close enough. So our anniversary is June 2nd. But I had trouble asking him out. All right. I was like, hey, would you, because it was over a phone call. All right. Like, we were on call and we were like, I was like, hey, would you be willing to? And he's like, are you trying to ask me on a date right now? And I was like, yes, please help. But it is definitely help from Tor. I'm not going to say you got us together because there was a lot of other people in it.
Fuck you. It's all my credit.
I helped her.
Yeah.
So,
So
suck
did,
it.
so did another friend I had at the time, Marissa.
All me.
But, and my mom. She was
Jake's
like,
side, but it's two people. Continue.
yeah, but, and my mom. But after a while, I was like, okay, yeah, I do really like him. And I think I am ready for a relationship. 3 years later, we are like 2-3 months away from our 3rd anniversary. So, crazy.
Younglings.
You say younglings?
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been in a relationship?
His longest relationship, I want to say it was 2-3 years.
3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Oh, that's so long.
And unfortunately, they did break up, but it
Thanks for
happens.
telling my story.
Yeah, you're welcome. But
hey, you were saying you claimed that you made the last 3 years, so she
Yeah.
kind of deserves that.
yeah, it's my story now.
Losers.
Continue.
Yeah, so I've played wingman for so many different people now. It's kind of a running joke that I'm the matchmaker in the group because I got Dylan and Morgan's sibling,
My sibling.
yeah, to get together as well because I just straight up told him, stop being a stupid coward and just ask him out.
Yeah, my sibling ended up asking him out,
Yeah.
and he wholly thought that my sibling was asking them out on a joke.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because my sibling asked them out, I think over text,
Mhm.
was like, hey, would you like to go out with me? And he was like, wait, you're not pulling my tail right now, are you? Because, like, I really like you, and if this is a joke, I will cry.
It's like, I will have a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, after how long they played chicken, I do not blame him. They were playing chicken for, like, 2 years
Yeah.
before any of them got the balls to ask each other out. So I was like, oh my God, thank God, finally.
And then I also got a good friend of ours, Eve, and her boyfriend together by lying to both of them.
Wow, that sounds like a good
Withholding
friend.
the truth. Withholding the truth.
Withholding the truth. So I gave screenshots to one of them about having a conversation with. So I'll use the names because whatever. Eve and this guy Ethan were very close together. Like Eve was one of the reasons why this guy and his ex were together, but eventually that
didn't work out.
Yeah, that relationship went very sour. She ghosted him for 3 months.
And then was like, oops, sorry.
Yeah, oops, sorry. And he's like, no, it's okay. But during this time, Eve was the emotional support for this guy.
Was the
and-
rock.
Yeah, was the rock, and pretty much was just there for him. And eventually, I asked Eve, like, hey, do you have feelings for this guy? She goes, no.
Maybe. No, maybe.
Kind of. Who knows? I don't know. And then they went down a rabbit hole of just, do I like this person? Do I not like this person? Why wouldn't I like this person? I text them every day. What does that mean? Are we dating? Like, and just all these different things. And I sent that rabbit hole text to Ethan. And he goes, huh, I wonder if she likes me.
Not at all.
And
Yeah,
Sorry
No.
to break the news. Sorry. No.
Break
Yeah.
the nose.
Break the nose.
well,
My
'cause
nose was broken.
yeah, at this time, wasn't it? Yeah.
Not at the same time, I don't think. No.
Okay. Well, it would have been funny if it was, so we're going to say it was. Anyway, I then talked to this guy about it. He's like, yeah, I realized that I really like talking to her, and it's really, really nice. Anyway, over the next like 2 weeks, they're playing chicken, and I'm just shooting screenshots to them, both sides, saying, oh, no, I'm not going to send him what we're talking about. I would never do that to you.
Withhold the truth.
And then I would send the screenshot. And it just happened, and eventually in chemistry class,
Interestingly enough.
yeah, he's like, by the way, I asked Eve out. And Sanders still says that she can hear my yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
He has played matchmaker for quite a few people. And I will say, being the wingman is probably the most boring sport to watch.
yeah, because you're like, but you're so excited when it all
You
happens.
feel so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Like, it
like
feels great. But here's the problem is during like them talking, you have no idea what's going on. And so you're just sitting there like kiss, just in the corner.
oh gosh.
And then when
It's
it
like
happens,
that
it's
sitcom
like
trope. Yeah, it's like that sitcom trope where you're like waiting for these two people to get together, and when they finally kiss, they have an audience staring through a window or something. They're like,
yeah.
"Yay!"
Yeah, it's that.
Exactly
we
that.
did that for one of my friends. And they never actually ended up kissing because it was at her birthday party and there was like, I don't know, probably 10 other people there, not including her. And this guy came over because he came to her birthday party earlier. Obviously can't have a sleepover, but
Yeah.
he drove over to her house and they were hanging out. She was planning on kissing him and we all, oh my gosh, I
Just
still feel bad.
staring at her.
Well,
Staring.
we were running up and down her stairs in her house trying to find a good angle to be able to see this because they were right on his driver's side door, which you can't
just
see
trying to
because
find
it
a
was
good
glaring
vantage
and
point.
like you couldn't see directly into it even though the cabin light was on in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it was so stressful, like to the point where we'd sneak out onto the deck trying to make sure that she didn't see us, things like that. So I felt good to be a wingman there, but I
Fucking
was not the only
teenagers
one.
are weird. Do we just want to talk about this for a second? Do you guys remember when like you'd have a crush on someone, right? Or at least I heard this from my best friend's sisters. They talk about this, and it makes a lot of sense. You would talk to your best friends and like, oh no, I don't like that person when you have a crush on them. Like, oh, you should go talk to that person. And then they get together.
I'm gonna be honest. In middle school, we didn't really have that at least I didn't.
Sorry.
One of our friends did. And one thing I don't know if many men know, we come up with code words for boys we like. All right, and I forget some of our code words for some of the boys my friend group liked in middle school, but some of them were so weird. I think one time,
That's Pinkie Pie.
I'm gonna be honest, I think we did have a My Little Pony code name.
But I think we used Rainbow Dash.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it was Rainbow Dash for one of them, and I think it's because he was on the track team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, I love how this is like all flooding back to you. That's great.
Well, and it was one of the things. What we never did that with each other. If we had a crush on someone, we would admit it, and we'd have code names with our friend group.
With
we
a friend group,
we
but
do-
between the two of us, we were really close in middle school, and we did kind of separate, but not like fully separate. Like we drifted, but we're still friends, right? We still talk. But between me and her, we were really like honest. Like, yeah, I have a crush on him. Let's stop talking about it.
It's just like we're done.
We're done.
Thanks.
You're done.
But with our friend group, they were very, I don't want to say boy oriented, but they had a lot of crushes in a very medium time span.
This is about one person.
And it happened. That's why we had so many of the code names.
Of course.
And anytime we encouraged her to ask them or talk to him, they were like, no. I don't want to talk to him
They'd
anymore.
be like, nope, I'm not doing that. And we're like, just do it. Like, you've been obsessing over this guy for so long. And she's like, no,
and
not going to happen.
and then after like the third time we tell her to like go ask him out, go talk to him, do something. She's like, "Oh yeah, no. I don't have a crush on him anymore. It's
What the
actually
fuck?
this guy."
That's some
So
bullshit.
bipolar.
And it was some of the funniest things to go through in middle school, and it's probably one of my fondest memories from middle school.
So sometimes the wingman can be fun because you get to witness other people.
Crimes against
chaos.
humanity.
The chaos.
Yeah.
Don't get us started on Cards Against Humanity. Oh,
Oh,
my gosh.
yes.
So I collect cards. It's one of my favorite things to collect. I collect playing cards, I collect card games, and one of the ones I have the biggest collection of is Cards Against Humanity. I have quite a few of the expansion packs, not all of them.
Almost.
I looked it up. I'm missing quite a few packs.
It's like 3.
No, I have a whole page full of them.
Oh, fuck.
Of all of the ones that I'm missing. Well, besides the discontinued ones. But I have a large collection. And one of our favorite things to do, because at school is when pretty much everyone is together at one time, we'll play it. Sometimes we'll play it during lunch, right? We'll play it during lunch and Miss
Or during
Sanders'
finals week.
or during finals week.
Yeah,
we'll
like
play
when our college classes end.
yeah. So we were playing it in lunch one day. And
Oh,
Miss
no.
Sanders, she started putting in headphones, so she didn't, because we sat at the front of the class, like right next to her playing it. So I do feel bad for her. And if she ever listens to that, I apologize, Miss Sanders. But
I don't.
Like, yeah.
But oh my gosh, it seems every time she took out her headphones or
It
when
was-
she walked into the room, the worst card was played.
Horse vagina or something just out of pocket would
Right?
show up.
And exactly out of pocket. But some of the most out of pocket cards were played. And she would look at us and she was like, "What prefaced that card?"
Yeah.
She
What
would-
is the context?
All right.
What is the black card?
Yeah, she was like, what black card prefaced that card? And I beg of you to make it make sense.
Honestly,
But when we played it during college, when we were in college comp during our finals week, right before I dropped the class, because it was just a little too stressful for me, Mr. Binkley, all right,
his faces are so
he made some of the most funny faces. We were like a group of 5 or 6 alone in the classroom because nobody else showed up because our finals were done like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And half the seniors don't show up for finals week anyway because like we finished them early.
Yeah, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, but we showed up because I had pretty much said, show up, we're playing Cards Against Humanity. And I had asked Mr. Binkley if it was okay sooner, and he was like, yeah, I'll just have to figure out what to tell admin if they come in. And we're like, tell them we're learning vocabulary.
And fun fact, we actually
did.
did learn vocabulary. Oedipus complex. I now know what that means and why it exists.
Yeah.
And where it comes
He
from.
explained that to us, and we were like, okay, well, this card game did make us learn something. So, but he makes some of the funniest faces when listening to us because he was grading essays or something
Yeah,
like that.
something like that. Like something
Right.
small.
And so me and my group of friends, including Tor, were playing it, and we were playing some of the funniest things. We pull a saxophone card, like it's one of the saxophone cards, and he plays that stupid little saxophone thing from the early 2000s. That one. He plays like a 6-7 minute long video of
guy
that song going into public places just with his saxophone playing it.
Shirtless with
Shirtless,
suspenders on and stuff like
Suspenders
that.
or like a leather jacket with no shirt on or something like that, and he's just playing it. So we're playing Cards Against Humanity with this saxophone playing in the background.
And sometimes the little like we can't really show the facial expressions very well, but like Binkley is a very straight-faced person.
Yes, it's not, I'm not going to say it's hard to get him to smile, but he smiles at really out-of-pocket things.
Yes, like you have to catch him off guard because he is a very
He used to be a middle school teacher, and now he's a high school teacher.
yeah.
So if that gives you any clue on how straight-faced he can be, we got him to make so many funny faces.
Yes. One of my proudest accomplishments is I've got Binkley to make a dirty joke,
Lucky.
and it's one of my proudest accomplishments in life.
He has a whole notebook of out-of-pocket quotes from his students.
Yep. One of my favorites is from yours truly, which is, you are under the false impression that I will not waterboard the fuck out of a horse.
What did that come from?
I
Like-
can't remember.
Oh my gosh. I want to know what that prefaced.
No clue.
Yikes. No,
Just playing with the soundboard to see how we can.
It's my job. Keep going.
but it's some of the funniest things to remember playing those, and it's going to be one of my fondest memories looking back at high school, looking back on my junior and senior year playing my Cards Against Humanity, because last year I'd bring my smaller Cards Against Humanity because I hadn't started my collection yet. Most of my expansion packs came from my birthday, my 18th birthday. My mom got me this $130 box of Cards Humanity with Cards Against Humanity cards.
Cards. It's a lot of them.
It's fucking
Okay.
cards, okay? And then
It's
there's no other
cards.
kind.
But she got me a big, giant pack. It's called the Box. BOKS box. She got me that, and it's $130 on Amazon, and it holds about a quarter of all of the Cards Against Humanity that they still sell.
It's great.
And I want
4 of those.
Yeah, just to hold the entire collection. It's great.
Yeah. And it doesn't come with the original box. It just comes with the expansion packs. And she got that for me for my 18th birthday. All right. And that's the only thing I got from my parents, which I could not be happier about. And we played it during my birthday. Well, one of my friends dug a splinter out of my hand because I was trying to run away from my auntie who had a jar of glitter. She was running at me. Mind you, my auntie is 4'11". All right. She is short.
But she is the epitome of tiny Latina.
Yes, she is the epitome of tiny Latina, and she was she handed the baby she was looking after to my cousin. She looked at JD. She was like, "Hold this, all
Hold
right."
my beer.
Right? She looked at JD. She was like, "Hold this." She went with my mom into her office. My mom makes soaps. She has really, really fine glitter. So my auntie grabbed a gold jar of glitter, came out with me, unscrewed it, hid it behind her back. Mind you, I was opening this Russian doll box from my dad holding money in it, right? And each layer had a little bit more glitter in it, and I'm like holding it like 5 feet away from my body, opening it. I get it open. I put the money inside my wallet. She comes running full force at me with the jar of glitter. I try running away. I get my hand on my fence. I get a splinter from it because my brother pulls me off the fence and holds me. My arms are like to my sides, like he's a Marine. He's restraining me. I cannot get out of this. And my auntie pours the glitter over my head. I have glitter still in my belt.
This was months ago, by the way.
It was in September. I still have glitter in my belt. Like, you know those interchangeable belt buckles?
Yeah.
Where you unbutton it?
Yeah.
When I unbutton it and take my belt buckle out, there is still golden glitter in that fold. I still have some shirts that are covered in golden glitter. And you want to know what my mom says afterwards? She looks at me and she's like, "You got your first golden shower." And if you understand what that is, you understand why I'm not going to emphasize on what it means.
It's amazing. Would also just like to say,
I
was
love your
there?
mom.
And it's great.
Tor was there. He watched this happen.
Yeah, and pretty much every word she said is correct.
She watched this happen. My 4'11" Latina auntie, all right, running at me after handing a baby to my cousin is terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay? Because she doesn't look scary when she's holding a baby, but when she has a jar of glitter running at you, it's terrifying. Mind you, I have really curly, thick hair. That was a nightmare to get out.
Yeah.
I was washing my hair for months, and I'd look down at my shower water, glitter, constantly.
I don't know how
Couple-
bad that would
It's
make
like
me.
herpes. It gets everywhere and it never
Like-
goes away.
A week or two afterwards, I washed my bedding.
Yeah.
All right, I looked at the lint trap on my dryer,
Glitter.
glitter. Months afterwards, the floor still had glitter on it. I have found glitter on my dog. It is April. I'm still finding glitter on my dog.
So, if you got to take one life lesson from this out of pocket,
Keep
glitter is
glitter out of your
herpes.
house. keep glitter out of your house. For the love of all things good in this world, keep glitter out of your house.
Glitter is for 2 things: birthday parties
Or torment.
and strippers. Nothing else.
Well, I mean, I can also condone to the glitter, at least the glitter that your mom buys, because I made soaps for a long time. That it's not like regular glitter you get at King Supers.
No,
Is
it's not like that
tiny.
craft glitter. It's not like that craft glitter. No, it's this super duper fine. Like the next thing smaller than it is atoms type fine.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
like
Super fine.
never
right?
gone.
Like
Never
you
gone.
can't sweep it up. All right. Fine. And
It is the
Mom.
building block.
my mom has like 8 jars of these in her office.
That's 8 nuclear
I love
warheads
that she
sitting in her office.
sacrificed one of the jars, though. Those are costly.
I think my mother's entire goal of her life right now was to have a daughter, one singular daughter, to torment the ever-loving days out of.
Just
I'm
you.
going to die early because of the heart problem she's caused me.
Well, welcome
And
to
it's
the
just you.
ASMR.
It's just me. None of my other siblings get tormented from my mother the way I do. All right, like I'm not going to sit here and say they don't get tormented in a good way, like in a
In a
familiar
apparent way.
in a familial way. They don't get more tormented like I do. Okay, I get glitter thrown on me. I get forks poked at me. I get butter knives poked at me. Okay, like I've had milk thrown at me. It was closed, but it was thrown at me.
the joys of being an only child.
I'm not an only child.
That's what I'm saying. I don't have to deal with this shit.
Yeah,
My-
me too.
Lucky you.
My-
Lucky you.
My
all right?
mom just makes dirty jokes with me, and then my best friend's like, "You talk to your mom like that?" I'm like, yeah,
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
all the time.
I've been in the car with my mom, me, and my auntie. We were the only 3 in the car. My auntie used to work at Walmart as a picker. And pickers are people who just go through the store picking stuff up people have ordered to deliver either to their house or to their car in the parking lot. My auntie, all right, she's practically screaming this in my mom's little Subaru car. All right, she's practically screaming this in the car. I am sorry for this. She's screaming about how she had to pick up 2 different dildos and 48 bottles of lube.
Hold on, 48
That is
bottles.
a swimming pool, by the way.
48 bottles of lube. All right, 48 like 16-ounce bottles of lube.
Someone's getting their OnlyFans started.
Yeah. This was when I was like 10, mind you.
So
We were on the
OnlyFans
way to a
didn't exist
car dealership. Me, auntie, and my
It's a bad
mom.
dragon.
Yeah, me, my auntie, and my mom were in the car, and she starts screaming about this. I'm on my phone or in a book reading, and all of a sudden I hear my auntie screaming about 2 dildos and 48 bottles of lube. Okay?
49 bottles of lube on the wall.
All right. Imagine my horror being little 10-year-old me listening to my auntie scream this. And I was in between the ages of like 10 and 12. I'm just using 10 because 10. Because 12 is a weird number, by the way. Bye. But I'm just
Bye.
I'm young and I'm listening to her scream this and I'm like, what?
You're like, I don't want to understand what you're saying.
The unfortunate thing is I did understand what they were saying. I did know what they were talking about.
The faculties of being a child with too much knowledge.
But my family, I have watched my mom and my auntie drink on Thanksgiving and then proceed to
Legally.
cook legally. They were of age, obviously. They had me. But I watched them drink and attempt to bake a turkey.
That's scarring.
I think the oven almost set on fire, guys. Like, it was bad. I watched. They pulled it out after some smoke pulling out of the oven. I ran to them, like I think they were watching football or something with the boys. But I ran to them and I'm like, hey, is there supposed to be smoke coming out of the oven? I've never seen 2 women jump up faster in their lives. Thankfully, they had 2 turkeys. One was in the downstairs oven, and they didn't manage to burn that one because that oven is slower.
Wow. Man, has this been a good episode. Well, thank you so much for listening to Out of Pocket, and we'll catch you next time.
Or not.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Secondary. If you enjoy this content, then please, by all means, share it out. Subscribe to us on Spotify and all the other platforms where you listen to your podcast. Until the next episode, we'll see you then.